You can support this show at patreon.com/ASA podcasting.
You shove them in your fish pockets.
The wasteland is the host of apocalyptic mess as the sole survivor wanders out about to leave the rest. Nuclear explosions sending out the gamma rays from deep within the core, frozen atomic waves. From deep within the core, frozen atomic waves.
Hello and welcome to the 513th edition of the Fallout Feed. I am Andrew, joined by a flock of my favorite Fallout folks. Tonight, I've got Jess. What's up, Jess?
Hey, Andrew. Greets, everybody.
And Ray. What's going on, Ray?
Hello, hello.
Tonight on the show, we will go over some gameplay off the top, and then we will also check in with Captain Raymond and that, what's the fish guy name? Is he Fishy
the
Face?
fisherman.
Fishy Face.
the
Captain
fish guy.
Fishy Face. And we got a terminal velocity from Helios, New Vegas, from Mr. Solior. We'll continue adventures there. I think we're prepping for some Fallout show season 2 lore here. Hopefully they'll check in with Helios. That'd be fun in the show. Let's check in with some iguana bits as well, and a shout out on our way out the door. So let's go ahead, hop into our gameplay and see what Ray has been getting into. Ray, did you chance playing any video games this week, sir?
Yeah, I played a little bit.
What'd you get into?
Still doing a lot of Paludarium work, so not quite as much as usual.
Well, let's check in with that. Did you get your foam all set and painted and everything?
Yep. Got the everything covered in silicone and cocoa fiber. So that's always the hardest part of the build, because you're dealing with so much silicone adhesive that
Stick to everything.
you have to have fans blowing and
Oh, you're gassing yourself out. You wearing a mask?
paint respirator and goggles, and still I can still feel it in my chest.
Ray's loopy.
My eyes are bloodshot.
Yeah.
And so thankfully that's all over now. So
What, you mean life?
Yeah.
Inhaling the fumes. So is that just setting the different foams together? What's the sealing it, I would assume, right?
Yeah, so it seals it, and it also, cocoa fiber is just ground up
I was gonna say
coconut shells.
I was gonna say, is it coconut husks or the shells? Cool.
Yeah. The whole 9 yards. You get a lot of fiber in there and a lot of different textures. So,
you just put that down instead of like moss or something, right? And it gives the
Yeah,
plant something
it
to root onto.
yeah, it looks like dirt, and plants can grow into it. And it's just a better looking medium. Now, everything that's below water, I cover in black sand instead of cocoa fiber.
Okay. Ooh, black sand. That'll look nice.
Yeah. So it has a good look, but then also it doesn't, get waterlogged and get all moldy and everything.
Yeah. Do you have to encase every bit of the silicone with the fiber, the cocoa fiber?
Well, technically you don't have to, because the silicone
After it cures
itself will seal the spray foam. But you do it just because it looks better.
I cannot wait to see it filled up and ready to go.
What are you gonna put in there?
So it's a new house for the poop frogs and the geckos.
a new, just a bigger expansion?
Well, it'll be a little bit different, but hopefully it'll be a more comfortable place to live.
But you're not getting new pets. It's just you're relocating them. You're not going to introduce anything to the new arena.
Yeah, probably vampire crabs.
What is that?
Vampire crabs. Okay, now you have my interest, sir. What's going on?
Hide your necks, little geckos.
So vampire crabs are these tiny little crabs. So they're about the size of the end of your thumb, and they are varying combinations of black and red. And so,
Hence the vampire. Okay.
Yeah, and so that's where they get the vampire name from. And they live in and out of water, so they like.
Ooh, very pretty. Lots of purple in there
like
too. Yeah.
So, so looking forward to having a few little crabbies running around.
What's the chance if I go fishing in your paludarium that I catch an axolotl?
0.
I'm not having much luck in the wasteland. Sounds about the same. Okay, just checking.
Yeah. I mean, there are plenty of people that keep axolotls, but no, that's not one that I have to be sensitive about the the general aesthetic. So these guys, this paludarium is in my living room, and so it has to have aesthetic creatures,
Right.
like no gross little aquatic monsters.
Vampire crabs. Slimy in our chat says they think you're talking about the Red Death.
Yeah,
Oh,
it looks a
yeah,
lot,
dude. It does. It looks exactly like that.
Almost certainly the Red Death.
That's hilarious.
So I'll have to put a boat crash in there somewhere.
Yeah, and it's also the size of a nickel. So
Yeah. Which falls with the theme.
absolutely.
So, but yeah, so that's been occupying a lot of time.
You ever done a saltwater one?
No, saltwater's a nightmare.
I would imagine. Corrosive as fuck, right?
Yeah, and it takes all kinds of special equipment, and it doesn't take much of anything to just completely crash.
Lots
your,
of balancing,
tank.
your pHs and stuff. Yeah.
And so I try to lean towards less work.
Doesn't seem like it to me, Ray. You're
to maintain it,
creating a little work. Yeah, okay. I do agree with put more work up front in order for less work down the road.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Less work to maintain, more enjoyment time.
Absolutely.
So
more gaming time.
More gaming time for sure.
You ever built one outside? You ever done anything a yard feature with water and to attract animals or anything like that out in your yard? You ever done a feature?
I've got a little garden pond with a waterfall and
nice
water
I've
lilies.
always wanted to do that. Do you have a pump to it and everything where you have?
Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah,
my aunt always had one in the winter. I was like, oh, those poor fish, but she either restocked them where they live. Do fish freeze in the?
No,
they die and she restocks it, right?
I've never had more than about 1.5 inches of ice.
Oh, so they can get underneath it. Okay.
Yeah. So the waterfall still runs.
So there's okay. Yeah.
So there
motion to the water.
Air
currents.
getting into the water.
I always feel bad for the little frogs who freeze themselves. Poor buddies.
Yeah, I've got a bullfrog that comes back every year. It gets bigger and bigger and bigger.
That's awesome.
What's his name?
I didn't name him.
Come on, Nancy named that guy.
Fatty
Froggy Frog.
It's really just a feeding trough for the blue herons.
Oh, those are beautiful though. I like blue herons walking around. That'd be beautiful. But yeah,
they're
poor frogs. They're just snacks at this point.
Yeah. Yeah, it was, I stopped putting goldfish in the pond. Because,
snack.
you'd put them in there and, a couple of days later, they'd all be gone.
Yeah, raccoons and birds will eat all your fish pretty quickly.
Yeah. So now I just keep little mosquito fish in there so that they can,
eat the
eat
larva.
the bugs.
Right. Yeah.
So
I want a frog pond though. Sounds so fun. Did you get a chance, aside from all of our nature and environment building talk, did you get a chance to play the actual video games?
Yeah, I did. I got, I'm still cranking away on my No Man's Sky settlements. So getting everything upgraded and, looking at the new features that they added.
Okay.
Still waiting on an expedition.
Do we know what the bacon was yet?
Beacon.
Oh, right. Beacon. Bacon was beacon.
Yeah.
Just like what was the other
Origins.
eye roll? Yeah,
it was an orange.
Yeah, the Origins. That was like one of the first ones I caught on to the whole thing. And I had to roll my eyes, but
Yeah. Yeah, they're still at it. So.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. And, still cranking away on Oblivion.
Was this you weren't leveling up? No. What were you doing? You weren't sleeping
or
something?
Level 1 character. Yeah. No level ups.
Which you found a way around one of your stumbling blocks this week, right?
Well, I didn't. One of our community members did.
What's this? What happened?
So, okay. Forgive me if my memory is poor, and I attribute it to the wrong person, but I believe it was Com Horizons that.
Yeah, I think it was Matt who mentioned it.
Gave me the heads up that that there was a way to get the Mask of Clavicus Vile, and I tried it out, and it worked like a charm.
Is that the one from Barbas? That head?
Not in Oblivion.
Yeah.
Not
Oblivion. Right.
Yeah, that was Skyrim.
God, just totally blanked. Wait. So it how does it exist in Oblivion?
In Oblivion, I think it's a level 20. If you go there and try to do the quest straight up.
It's level locked at 20 or something?
It's level locked at 20.
Okay.
But he let me know that if you get what, Clavicus Vile is after in the first place and just bring it to him at any level, you can get the mask. So.
Yep. You have to go and get Umbra, kill them, right? And get the sword to bring back to trade for the mask or something like that.
Oh.
Yep.
No talking dogs?
No talking dogs.
Oh.
A severe lack of talking dogs in Oblivion, it's true.
But so that's rolling along. And
wonderful.
Probably most of my gaming time has been sunk into Starfield.
Yeah, with all those big new updates we got at the Xbox Showcase that they released right away, right? All that, the big updates.
Was there?
No, there was nothing. There was absolutely nothing.
I didn't think so.
But no, what do you play, Starfield?
I finally bit the bullet and tried. So I had 1,100 credits that I have no idea where they came from. But I had those creation credits, and so I thought, okay, well, I may as well just give Watchtower a try because it looks super cool.
Had you done some on Skyrim? Because the Todd Arenas, the Todd Bucks, go between both games. You buy for one, and they're available in the other, I think.
I think it's just
Todd Bucks.
all the all the free creation bucks that you get.
Oh, okay. You still haven't spent them
Um,
all.
I had never spent any. This is literally the first creation that I have ever loaded in any of the 3 games.
Right. Because you use regular mods, not creations, but you wanted to check out Watchtower. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So drop that into a new save and started off, and um, it was quite startling. Um, so I did my normal thing. I think that I had some inclination that it always is something that starts later in the game as you get to higher level.
Right, because a lot of things like that have triggers, but this one doesn't, right? It's an immediate.
So Starfield has kind of a unique thing where uh, you have your player level, but you also have a system level.
Oh, right. Okay.
And
So it's
so
based on the system you go to. Is it over level 15 or something? What is it?
what whatever Albatati is, or whatever that solar system is, and it's on my regular trip to Serpentis.
Hmm.
Um,
Oh, so you were just loading up to go to Serpentis and this happened.
so I think I was level 4 at the time, and I was hopping from Parima on, to go on uh, to Serpentis and the stock frontier, um, and I loaded into this system, and all of a sudden there's these bright flashing lights, and these ships are shooting at me, and normally if I enter a system, I always have no weapons powered, and all the grab drive completely powered up, so that there's no lag time between when you executed a grab jump and when you actually jump, because I'm just trying to get the hell out of there.
Right, of course. Yeah. Yeah,
And so,
Albatani is level 35. I just double checked. But I
okay,
do think it can happen even earlier than that.
so um, so then I'm like, okay, no. I don't really want to do this right now. I'm gonna need to, I'm doing something else. Don't bother me. So I reloaded. I couldn't. I got it. I got as far as Serpentis, but they keep following you um, as you go. And so finally, I gave in, and all it is the opening scene. So you get captured, you get rescued, and you're done. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, if I'd known that, I wouldn't have sweated it, because I could have just, rolled with it.
Yeah, it's pretty quick to start. So did you play through it at all much yet? Like, have you gotten deep into it?
Uh, well, I'm not deep into it, but I
Hmm.
have started progressing. I now have a ship in my fleet, which at this point is kind of as annoying as a follower.
Well,
Um,
you can turn it off, so
yeah,
that because you design fleets in Watchtower, but there's a setting where you can have the ships come with you all the time for combats or only during Watchtower combat missions.
yeah. I need to go through and find those, because um, I haven't done a lot of jumping around since
Hmm.
that point, but enough to know that I'm annoyed by it. So yeah,
Yeah, it's pretty cool flying with your other ship. So we talked about Watchtower a bit when it launched, and I mean it
yeah,
seems awesome. I haven't played it yet either. I've been saving it, but I do think the way it integrates is the kind of thing where I really think they should have had it so it doesn't start to your characters at least level 20, or until you've at least got all of your constellation crew together. Grabbed all 3 of your constellation companions, something like that. Like that would have been a better trigger in my mind. So
uh,
when I do roll with it, I'm going to install it, several main missions in.
yeah. Um, and you know it. I can see where you might need to have somebody in your fleet helping you out when these guys come in, but um, I I build smackdown ships.
I know you do. Yeah, I mean, we've talked about it a lot. Each of your ships are killer. You've got a fleet of like 3 or 4 of them. The cool part is assigning your crew to it, though. Like you actually having other companion. Sorry, cool for me, not necessarily people who don't love companions, but I mean, like you can actually recruit more people, assign them to the ship, like have them on comms. I like that idea.
Well, and I was on the first uh, mission, and I was trying to figure out, I mean, I'm like, wow, these Watchtower guys are tough. Much tougher than equivalently leveled NPCs. But then I realized, oh crap, I've got that knucklehead chasing Torin as a companion because it's the first mission, and I run introvert,
Oh, right.
so I'm getting debuffed for having a companion.
And so you're doing like less damage and such.
Yeah,
Taking
and
more
taking more
damage.
damage.
Yeah.
It's like playing Fallout 76, having taken one for the team on your first missions, not even realizing.
Yeah. But so I've got
Empath or whatever.
I've got no trouble taking out the Watchtower drones that harass you pretty regularly. And so, but it's super interesting, a lot of fun. I was bummed that you can't. So when my first real experience with them was on the moon in Serpentis. I'm jumping around, and the ship lands, so I run over because I'm going to go commandeer it, and
Hey, can I come on? Can I come on? Can I come on?
I get there, take the guys out, hop on board, run inside, and you can't fly those ships.
No, you can't. You can't commandeer those ships.
I'm like, okay, fine. Then don't land on the damn planet because this is how I make my money, sucker. You're cramping my style. And they dominate the pool of ships that land on the planet.
So you're getting a lot less hijack opportunities on the planet. How about in orbit? Are you running into just as many?
In orbit, I'm okay. I mean, they're still there, but you just blow them up. But they don't really impact the ships that you encounter, in battles. The helper missions are the most common ones, the ones where either the UC or the Free Star, are in a battle, and
right.
So you try to find the one ship that they're not shooting at and go commandeer that one. So
overall thoughts on it? I mean, you're not far enough in necessarily to render judgment, but story decent, but mechanics maybe not super compatible with your playstyle.
Yeah, and it's just totally my playstyle thing. It's still really well done, and the voice acting is good in it. I was a little less than impressed with the equipment you get off of them. So I was getting better stuff off the pirates and the Ecliptic that I was killing. So, but it's still interesting space battles. It does add, an additional opportunity to gain XP because you're fighting a lot of there's a lot of people in these facilities.
Right.
I definitely need to look at putting some skill points into the explosives perk, because it's really hard to throw the skydrop grenades
Get them where you want them.
and
Yeah.
get them where you want them. And the mechs that you take out with those are not dumb. You know, when the grenade lands, they move.
Sweet.
You know, just
Okay.
like humans, when you throw a grenade, they'll run from cover and everything else. And a lot of times you use the grenades just to flush them out of cover.
Okay. Yep.
But since the skydrop's the only way you can take out the mech, you need to be a little more strategic. So I need to have a better idea where my grenade's going to land.
But that's just really cool. Adding a fleet, adding these new mechanics, adding the sky drops, adding the orbital strikes, fighting mechs. Like that's some pretty cool stuff to add to Starfield. People are saying it's a solid DLC.
Yeah, it was definitely worth the credits I didn't pay for. I dare say it would have been worth the credits if I had paid for them. So, especially since they really go, the fact that King Gaff and his crew get some of the cut is,
Yep.
is good.
Yeah, that's the thing about paid mods that can make it worth it for a lot of us. You're rewarding all the time and effort someone puts in on that, and also enabling them to continue to do so.
Yeah.
As a significant part of their workflow. Like there are people who work on mods, if not full time, at least part time, that they wouldn't be able to, without a little bit of income from it. So I'm down with it.
Yeah. Yeah. Ultimately, I pay for all the mods that I use.
Hmm.
Some a lot more than others. So, but it's a convenient way to make sure that you're helping them out.
Right.
So, and ultimately a lot less expensive because I very typically forget to go back after I've donated to a mod author for a few months, and I forget to go shut it off.
Right.
So-
Because a lot of them are automatic recurring. Yeah.
So there's people that I've paid hundreds of dollars to, for their modding.
I'm sure they're appreciative.
Yeah, no doubt, and it's fine. It's all good. I enjoy their work, so I don't mind paying for it. But
Beautiful.
that's pretty much all I got up to.
Is Serpentis shaped like a snake?
No, it's round
Yes.
like every other planet.
Yes.
It's not a constellation. It's just a planet.
It's a star system. It's a solar system.
Mhm. Should be shaped like a damn snake, darn it. All right. Was there any other gaming you got into this week, sir?
No, that was the extent of it.
All right. Thank you so much. Let's move over and check on Jess. Who has she got into this week, Jess? Did you have a chance playing video games?
Speaking of hundreds of dollars for mods, I pulled up this sound while Ray was talking. This is my theme sound. I don't know if that's coming through on the podcast call, but that is a whale sound.
Vuvuzela.
Because, exactly. No, because I have been giving my money to Todd, with the Todderinos and Todd Bucks, speaking of them. So on my Starfield, all I'm playing with are paid creations at this point, because I still have 2 achievements I haven't gotten. I don't want to get rid of it, and I want to support these modders. So I am buying paid creations, but I'm well over 100 on Starfield creations now, probably more. I'm not counting, who needs to count, and and Starfield and other things, of course. And Skyrim and other things.
Todd
But
Buck.
yeah, Exactly. But, it's worth it and trying some great stuff. I want to shout out, you mentioned clearing out the facilities. One thing when you mentioned clearing out facilities, I wanted to mention the Forgotten POIs. There are 2 of them now, paid creations. Forgotten POIs 1, I think, has 5, and Forgotten POIs 2, I think, has 6. But these are really cool facility locations that get mixed into the pool of points of interest that can randomly spawn on different maps. And with the 2 of them together, that's a solid, I don't know, somewhere between 9 and 11. Like, I don't remember the exact number, but it's a number of really cool POIs mixed in. There are some other point of interest mods that I enjoy. I think I mentioned Tiny Reasons to Explore Space or Tiny Reasons to Explore Planets, and those are cool, but playing with that for a while, a lot of them are a little bit silly, like just nonsensical. It's kind of like in Fallout 4, the one where you get, just run across, you see a few more skeletons, you might see a boat somewhere. Like, it's just little things on the landscape, but nothing really engaging. I mean, some things are engaging, of course, but it's just smaller things. And that's what those Tiny Reasons are. Whereas the Forgotten POIs, really, really good. Anywho, but what I've actually been playing, I played a little Starfield this week, but I have pretty much dedicated my life, my entire week. I even had a couple days off this week. Just like the season says, y'all, I've gone fishing.
Woo! Big catches. Big catches.
I'd already.
What you got?
Yeah. Oh, I mean, quantity, yes. Quality, I don't know. I finally got there. As the week went on. But so when we talked last week after it had just come out, I'd been doing the dailies every day. That continued. I think I've skipped the dailies maybe once in the last 7.
Wow, you're just usually a weekly girl.
Yeah. I mean, lately, when aside the roundtable playing, I've been playing at usually once a week, maybe twice on a really, but usually just log in for the weeklies and maybe the dailies once, and that's good. Especially, last season, I didn't even finish out the season. But fishing, I've been in there every day. Every day.
More than the fishing dailies? You're doing all the daily challenges too? Or just the fishing ones?
Yep. Yeah, pretty much all of them. So it's been 2 weeks now. And I did 2 weeks. It's been a week and a half, but 2 weeks, on the Fallout calendar. So I did my weeklies and multiple days of dailies, including the fishing dailies. And then this week I've already done my weeklies and I've done multiple days of dailies, including fishing dailies. I did not, I think yesterday I finally took off because Wednesday I finally got my Mark II reel. So let's back it up a little bit. Let's back it up and talk. Okay, so Saturday, I don't know if I mentioned on the show, but I think I did. We had a fishing competition. My friend Renee, I shouted it out. We were doing the fishing competition, the Axolotl Pro Challenge on Saturday and Sunday, and I was joining and fishing on Saturday. Great time. I think we had 10 competitors. Essentially what it was, we all started fishing in 15-minute rounds, and there were 10 of us to start, then down to 9, then 2 were eliminated per round.
You did that last weekend. I forgot.
Yeah, that was Saturday. It was a really, really good time. Actually, did really well. Renee set up 6 different fishing camps. Really fun. So on Saturday, I ended up coming in third as people, kept dropping off and dropping down. And basically what it was, in those 15 minutes, all the fish you caught, you dropped in a bag and they different counts. So, your regular small common or 1 point, your medium common were 2 points, or what I call uncommon. Then, your rares are more like your sawgills and the actual regional rares, all the way up to, glowing fish and stuff. And if you caught an axolotl, it wasn't even on the score chart, but that was 10 points, which somebody actually caught an axolotl amazingly
on camera
during the challenge. Yep.
That's fun.
And the best bait we were using was improved bait too.
Ugh.
And it was really cool. But so I got in, I got third. It was really fun competition, like palms sweaty.
His palms are sweaty, knees weak, arms are heavy. There's vomit on his sweater already. Mom's spaghetti.
You're out there fishing hard. It's like a real fly fishing challenge, at first, or whatever you call it, angler challenge. In there, and you're relaxed, you're having fun. But by the second or third elimination, I was getting serious. So I'm there on the dock, and I think it was during the second and third round, you and Angel both joined on our team. There were a couple of us on a team. You joined in, you're running around the wasteland doing stuff. Angel actually stopped by and waved to us on the dock, so we're all fishing hard. Couldn't wave back because we were too busy fishing.
I was fishing too, not interrupting your competition though.
Yeah, there was a time limit, so we couldn't stop for a second. It was, but I got really serious. Like I said, palms sweaty.
His palms are sweaty.
I'm eating my grilled fish, all totally focused until
Does eating
the
grilled
fourth
fish
or
provide a benefit for fishing?
you eat the grilled fish to reduce time to hook.
Oh, I didn't know
So
that.
if you're out there hooking and you want to hook faster, you eat grilled fish. 20 minutes.
You know I'd be
20-minute
hooking,
bonus.
but only on the weekends.
I was hooking hard. You guys. I was reeling them in until it was the fourth or fifth camp. And so this one was set up in the mire. And the way Renee had it set up, it's a little bit tighter, a little bit shorter dock. You know, it's not the size of the dock, but how you use it. And I could not find a good spot to fish, so I did. I found a great spot, and everybody had good spots. Well, after casting my line twice, I hear the person next to me on the right grumbling that they can't find the right spot to throw in their line. It's not working. Then they move, and then they adjust, and they start throwing the line. And guess where they threw their line?
Did it tangle with yours?
It did.
I hate
Big
when that
ass
happens.
red rocket bobber. The biggest bobber you got in the game right now. Okay, they couldn't use a small bobber. No, the biggest. I said it's not the size. Doesn't matter. They grabbed the biggest. The biggest bobber in the game, crossing and landing right in front of where my bobber was, so I couldn't see it going up and down. I could not see it. This person named Sulior. Yes, their name is Sulior. Blocking my fishing hole, trying
What
to fish my hole.
Bum.
What a bum. So I'm like, okay, I tried. I couldn't do it. So I got up, I ran, and I tried to find another spot. Fell in the frickin' water off the dock. I'm like, what the? So I swim. I get back on the dock, trying to find my spot, because it's a little bit shallow. Like where she built it, like I said, it was a little bit tighter. There was room, but it was a little bit shallow. I fell in the water twice because I was like so in the zone for fishing. Like I said, palm sweaty,
Mom spaghetti.
in the zone, ready to go. And the stress got to me, okay? Under pressure. Dun, 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 dun. Fall in the water, splash. So I went down the beach. I found a spot. At this point, I'd lost a good 45 seconds, and I'd lost my mojo. So yeah, I failed out of that round pretty hard. It was down to just the four of us there. And that's where I ended up getting third. And so then the final round was Sulior versus, I'm trying to remember the other guy's name. If you know in chat, let me know. He was a great sport. Just met him for the first time that day. Yeah, Packerman was his name. He's the one who caught the axolotl. But the Masturbator trophy ended up going to Sulior. He actually won the competition. So well played.
Wow.
Despite the questionable sportsmanship that happened on that dock.
Yeah, and
with
pushing your competitors into the water? That's
I'm
not
surprised
nice.
he didn't just start shooting you.
Yeah, let's just say he got enough. I do not blame him at all. It just happened. It's where the game put the bobber. He moved. I mean, if he wasn't next to me, maybe, but I get it. Friends want to fish next to their buddies. So anyway, not his fault. I told him I totally don't blame him, but everybody else gave him so much shiz for the rest of the competition.
Every time
did he at least share a beer with you?
No, but he's promising me his first good mod that I don't have for the fishing reel. So that's good.
Yeah.
But so that was the competition.
So when you catch fish in 76, do you put them in a creel or on a stringer?
You shove them in your fish pockets. So it's
you
the
know
new
that
mod for
backpack where you're
your armor.
carrying all your rocket launchers and shit. It's just right by your rocket launcher.
Yeah, you can mod your backpack and your armor for pocketed, deep pocketed, and fish pockets. So I've got fish pockets mods everywhere: arms, shoulders, knees, and toes, all that stuff. That's what we're doing.
Fish pockets.
No, there is no fish pockets mod, but yeah. So I caught a lot of fish that day. But see, I'm doing this still for the competition. We went down to just your basic everything. You had to remove any mods you had, which I didn't have many anyway. But so I got to the Mark 1. I'm in there doing the dailies every day, and I couldn't get to the Mark 2. So Sunday, Monday, Tuesday happens, and we have friends out there. Like Rando posted a video on, I think Sunday or Monday, where he's like, the biggins I caught, okay? And he's there with his video catching the biggins. Like he's got like these fish that are the size of a freaking canoe. And he's catching fish that are like huge and land in, and like they're gorgeous. They're buttes, I believe, was what a fisherman said. They were buttes. I did not catch anything like that. But he's getting them all, and then he's getting axolotls. Then Stolior's getting axolotls. Other friends getting axolotls. I'm not.
Bums.
So a lot of it comes down to, and a lot of you listening know this, but if you're not playing fishing much, or you're just kind of dabbling so far, a lot of it is, it's not just the skill at the fishing mini game, but also as you get mods for your fishing pole. Okay, when you do the dailies each day, you go to Captain Raymond and you do his daily thing, which is get 7 fish from this region. It's all you have to do for the daily. Come back, turn him in. You'll get some improved bait from him, and you have a chance for a cool camp object, a recipe, or a mod for your fishing reel. I've only got a mod for my fishing reel once, first day or second day, and it's a dumb one. It's like the bearings, which makes your wedge smaller. I even talked about it last Friday because I got it by then. Like,
Makes
that's
it
the
move
worst
faster,
one.
but your
I
wedge
have
smaller. Yeah, terrible.
not gotten a single mod. I'm like getting normally I'm all about the camp items. I'm getting drowned this. I'm getting like drowned chandeliers, drowned searchlights, drowned fishing buckets, and like these cool like swampy things. And I'm like, I love it, but I hate it. Today, doing the dailies, I went in, I did the challenge. He gave me a fish and potatoes recipe. Fish and freaking potatoes.
Yum.
I just want to fish better.
Delish. That's one of my favorite meals.
Oh my goodness, I'm so mad.
Fish
But
potatoes.
But no, I honestly I've been enjoying it. So like I said, I'm doing it every day, and then finally on day Wednesday, so third day of this week. But Wednesday, I finally got the Mark II reel, and so for that, what is it you need? You need to get the Kanawha on top of 5 sawgills. You need a Kanawha piranha, and you need a leatherback. And so
in
it's
the
taking me.
forest region somewhere. Is that where that is?
The Kanawha piranha is a uncommon regional in the forest. Yeah, rare regional in the forest.
Okay.
And the leatherback is in the Savage Divide.
That's not a turtle, is it?
No.
Okay,
No,
thank God.
still just a fish. So I was trying every day, and it's funny because I'm out there. It's getting me into everything. So I'm building special fishing camps. I built a special piranha catching camp in the forest. That was up for about 2 days. I finally caught my piranha.
Nice.
And then I built a Savage Divide leatherback fishing camp. So I've been excuse for camp, but they're just small camps.
Yeah, what are you
But I'm
doing?
still a lot of the amenities.
You just tossing shit up, or are you actually like spending a couple hours, or what?
Between the two, I mean to just toss stuff up, but I'm me. I can't. So I'm building out a nice dock and a good rest spot and maybe a little picnic area, and I obviously got to put up the weather machine because of you get the boost for rain or for nuke zone stuff.
Live brainstorming practice here. Let's have Jess create the world's perfect fishing blueprint, where you can apply anywhere on the map. What's your blueprint going to look like?
It would break down into probably 4 or 5 pieces. You'd have a crafting and rest area that would be all one chunk that could place anywhere together. Then you'd have a dock area that would be all one chunk and placed together, maybe with some nice amenities for people, a little observation area. And then you would have a section for, just a side section with a few trees and bushes and like your weather machine and something aesthetic. So I guess that would be 3 chunks, but it may need to be 4 or 5 to put it all together. But
I forgot about the weather machine. That's absolutely vital.
It's absolutely vital, and that's why I'm doing the special fishing camps, because of the bonus you get. A lot of people, they like using, we talked about the different chances last week, and the nuke zone, or rad storm, which also includes Mothman equinox weather, also includes your I believe the Skyline Valley weather, and any of those will all count as nuke zone stuff, whereas rain is your thunderstorm, your snow, your aurora snow, all that counts as rain. And I feel rain is generally better unless you're going for glowing fish. Rain is really the best way to go. So any of the snow machines or the rain, but not Atlantic City Fog, because Bethesda didn't put that on the list.
Oh,
add it.
Bummer.
Oh, wow. So if you check out our Discord right now, there is a Biggins post. We just got a share of a Biggins post from Rando. Look at these fish he's catching. This is what I'm talking about.
Ooh, there's like electric eels on there and shit.
Yeah. There are some pretty cool fish. One of them, the upper left-hand corner, looks like the Wabbajack. You could bonk someone with that.
They'll turn into
But-
a bunny.
So now, if at your camp, can you do jug fishing?
Oh, you mean do I
Weird.
get junk?
Where you tie a line to a milk carton?
Oh,
a
jug
milk
fishing.
and throw it in the water and just, put out 10 or 12 of them and just,
It's funny. There is a fishing basket camp item, but no, you can't actually do that. But
Fish
there is
traps?
fish trap. That's exactly what I mean. Yeah, when I said fish basket, I meant fish trap.
okay.
You can put it in the water, fish would swim in, but it doesn't actually do that. As far as I know, actually, I haven't put it down, but it reads as like a regular camp object. So I think it is. I don't think it actually catches fish. Unlike the live bait barrel, whereas if you are a whale and don't have my sound ready again, and you decide you want to buy the little fishing update that you can get, where you get title and you get a live bait bucket and you get a cool ship and stuff like that, that will actually generate regular and improved bait for you. And I did. I ended up getting it. I got the fishing bundle. So I'm now growing improved bait in my camp. So long story short, and it has been long, I caught the leatherback on Wednesday in my cool Savage Divide camp. Got the Mark II reel, and finally fishing's going a little bit better for me. The Mark I improves the speed at which you rotate. Mark II is line strength. People want to know what line strength is. It means the fish escapes slower. So, when you move away from the fish, how fast it goes outside of your radius, that slows down. So that's Mark II. Mark III, I need to get a couple fish, the Ashen Ambushers and the Ash Heap, and then I believe up in the Toxic Valley. I got all the Ashen Ambushers I need because I'm actually fishing. Obviously, my main camp is in the Ash Heap. And it's actually been really fun. So I've been able to go to my camp. I've got the snow machine set up. I'd set it up earlier this week, did a little more with it. And so I've been fishing for, 30 minutes or more, doing the daily, trying to get my Ashen Ambusher, and then building my camp for an hour or two. And so my castle in the Ash Heap is finally coming along really well. So yeah, fishing and building. I'm in a good spot now. I feel the Mark III reel and some good mods coming on, and Sulior or Rando or another friend will get me a better mod for my rod. And I'll make them fish and potatoes as a reward. You guys can have my fish and potatoes. And we'll get there.
Yummy.
Yeah.
Put the fish and potatoes in a fish pocket, and you have a good meal.
Just dip into your fish pocket and have them. But so fishing has been really fun that way. Seeing a lot of friends on, I really feel like I'm seeing more friends on now with the fishing. I mean, every new season that happens where people come back on. But I had Lacey Meowface at my camp fishing today, a number of other friends fishing over the last week when I've been on various camps. Seeing other friends with various camps, it's a nice, fun, kind of social thing to do, fishing near somebody, waving,
Yeah.
I make fish pockets.
What kind?
In a pita.
No, in croute. So you wrap it in parchment paper and bake it.
Yum, though.
Usually with olives and capers and onions and garlic. But I don't serve it with potatoes. I serve it with rice.
It sounds good. Good thing to share with people. Yeah, chat's agreeing it's more fun fishing with other people. I mean, fishing is relaxing, but because I have the snow machine up all the time, or the thunder machine up for the rain, it's a little bit less relaxing than it would be just fishing on a calm day. But I want to catch the fancy fish. So that's been really fun. It's just been an excuse to do things. I mean, because you get improved bait from doing events too, it keeps you running around, jumping all over the wasteland, doing events with people. I've actually done probably more events this week than I normally would when I'm on the time that I've been. Oh, I didn't even tell you, scoreboard-wise, I'm at like 56. I'm ranked 56 on the scoreboard in a week and a half.
Nice. I was going to say, you're probably about done, but, you are.
Yeah, I was up to, I think last time I was talking to somebody about it, I was at like 37 or 38 on Sunday. I've just kept grinding all week. I did all the weeklies. I score booster every time. All the XP. I've been grinding up a storm. So I may finish the season like much faster than I have in the last year or two. But fishing, it's fun. fun. Beyond that, besides 76, I've been playing Oblivion still too. I got back into that, so I'd taken about 3 weeks off, and I didn't mean to take so much time, but it happens. And I'm back in doing the Fighters Guild stuff. Not a whole lot new to report there. My character's gone from like level 19 to level 23 or 4. I'm almost done with the Fighters Guild quest line.
You're hefty into it.
Yeah. Leveling is faster. We talked about it before, but leveling really is faster in this version of Oblivion than the original, with the way they've done it. And while I was a little bit worried about the level balancing, it's actually been fine. Hasn't been bad at all. And I'm pretty rich. My character's well off, rich, and I haven't even done the Thieves Guild, the Mages Guild, the Dark Brotherhood. I haven't done any of those quest lines yet. My first guild I was doing was the Fighters Guild, but I'm doing towns as I get to them. And like I said, I'm just about to wrap the Fighters Guild. And I've done a lot of the side quests in various towns. Like, things can tend to spiral as you do things for various people. You finish one, it adds more. Like the Germain brothers. First, you find the mistaken identity brother, and that takes you around. And then you do the recapturing Weatherly for them, and that's the next thing. And then Bathus Eulis, the Dark Elf, is like, well, what they don't know is their father was a thief, and he had something got lost. And then you're picking, you know what I mean? So there's like these different quest chains that add up. And that really keeps you going in Oblivion. It's been very fun. So I don't really have any new observations about Oblivion, aside from the fact that the way that these quests happen and the way that they chain together, even though it feels a bit more mechanical, like I mentioned a couple weeks ago, that I do feel like you can see the game more in Oblivion than you can some of the later ones. It's very much you talk to this person for a reason to do a thing, and they tell you about other NPCs you could talk to do another thing, and it hooks together. But the fact that a lot of these quests become chains, you start to forget about that. Like the longer you play Oblivion, the less that really matters. So I feel like the first 30, 40 hours I was seeing that now. I'm at about I'm only 50 or 60 hours into Oblivion at this point. I'm not that deep in, even though I'm up to level 23. And I'm not seeing it as much now. Like it's there, but it doesn't matter. So yeah, I'm just having fun with it for sure. I don't know. Okay, the achievement part of me wants to complete it. I want to play Oblivion. I want to complete it. I want to 100% it. I know that that's a good, 150 hours or more still to go in. And Starfield and other games aren't going to play themselves. I don't have fish traps. I cannot fish unless I actually log into 76. Now, I could put both Xboxes next to each other. Oh. Could I? I hadn't thought about that. Play both Xboxes at once? Probably not super effective. No, that wouldn't work. Fishing is far too active for that. I wish it was a lazy kind of fishing thing that I actually could. But you actually have to be on the ball while fishing. But yeah, I'm still enjoying both of those games very much. So I don't know that I'm going to finish in 100% Oblivion. Maybe over time. Maybe it'll be a 10-year game again like it was the first time. But yeah. I'm enjoying it.
I did have one other thing with Oblivion. I had gotten to a point where I was crashing.
Okay.
With the Unreal Engine crashes about every 10 or 15 minutes.
Wow.
And so it was getting really out of hand. And so I went on to look at mods and found engine tweaks.
Right. Something to optimize.
That so it's not a mod in that it changes the game. It just is an INI file that you add to your computer to make the game run more efficiently, and it really worked. So
glad to hear that.
Yeah, so I'm just looking at my Steam page, and so I ran 3 or 4 characters through the Game Pass version before I bought it on Steam, and I've got 125 hours in on Steam.
Okay, so within reason. Yeah, it's being mentioned in chat that all the achievements are easily gotten just through the quest lines, because they are. They're 100% faction-based and main story-based, but it's still 150 hours, like I'm saying, to get them all done, because even if I'm just trying to just focus on them, like, I was trying to just focus on the main quest in Fighters Guild so far, and I'm at 60 some hours, level 23, because I keep doing stuff in towns. Like, I'm not good at. It still needs to be fun while I play, and I do not find it fun to just play for the achievements. Like, I want the achievements, that's the goal, but I'm still going to play the game the way I play, so it's kind of hard to rush it out. But yeah.
I get those annoying little pop-ups all the time. I need to
Don't you
load some
though?
mods just so it'll stop with the freaking.
Well, and you have more on Steam. Like the old Oblivion achievements actually had a number of random ones too. Not random, but less quest related. But in Oblivion Remakester, they're 100% faction and quest related. Like 100%. Whereas the original had a few that were not.
Yeah, I've got 47 out of 60. And that's
Sweet.
definitely 0 attempts at getting any achievements.
Well, I applaud you, even if you don't care. But that's pretty much it for my gameplay. I don't want to keep rattling on. Had a great time. I'm loving the fishing, and I'll probably see a lot of you in 76 if I keep on like this. How about you, Andrew? What have you been playing? Anything?
No, nothing. No games. I'm done. I've just been trying to do the fishing stuff, but I haven't played a lot during the week. But last week I was really just trying to, hone in the general practice of it all. I started looking at the challenges and the world challenge menu where you have to, catch how many 5 regional fish or something like that per each zone. And then I would went and fished for ever up in the Toxic Valley and only got 1 out of the 4. So I was thinking, well, you probably need the superb bait or whatever to get the regional special fish, right? I'm assuming.
You definitely don't need it. Like, you don't need that bait for anything, but it really ups the percentage.
Yeah.
So that's something I realized. Like, I was gonna save superb for just axolotls, but the difference is huge. So improved bait, your chance of getting a an uncommon regional fish. Okay, with common it's 5%. With improved, it's 23%. With superb, it's 80%. 80%. That is in the rain. I'm using rain figures there.
All
but
right.
yeah.
So I need to concentrate on getting mods for the rod that rod the mod for making it's like the more advanced fish. I've never landed like the top level mystery like super rare fish because they always like wiggle off and go too fast. So I need, you said that's line strength that like has them, wiggle less or whatever. I don't know what the right word is.
That makes them how fast they go from the center out. When they leave the radar area, when they get out and get away, line strength slows that down. The attractiveness or whatever, the attractive hook makes them reel in faster, so into the middle faster. And then you've got the speed and the wedge, but I don't know if there's anything to make them wiggle less. I'm not sure about that.
The wedge making that wider would probably be okay. Is there a way to aim for that mod? What do you know what you have to do to get that, or is that just a random reward when you say he on the daily quest when you go out and do the 7 fish from an area and he rewards you the 3 possibility of 3 different items? Is that the only way to get those mods?
That's pretty much the only way to get those mods.
Okay.
Yeah, they're what you get from the captain when you're turning those in. So there's all kinds of cool rewards and camp items, and also there's stuff you get from challenges. So, your Mark 1, 2, 3, 4 reels, those are all from the challenges. Okay. I shouldn't say daily, but the fishing journey challenge. Are you on a Mark 2 reel yet? Do you know?
No, I'm still on. The only thing I've done is given it like a paint job. It's got.
Have you applied? Because you must have got the Mark 1 reel. Definitely add that. It will make your life way better.
I mean, I assume. I don't know.
So you have to mod it at the Tinker's Bench. Open up the Tinker's Bench and you'll see what you have currently.
Yeah, I definitely I remember putting something on it, but I thought it was just like some
got
red
the ruby
red
rod
paint or that.
Yep.
That's all. I don't
You
know
got
if
the
I
ruby rod.
improved it to Mark 1. I thought Mark 1. So there's a Mark 0?
Yeah, you start at Mark 0.
Fuck,
Yep.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
So
hilarious.
do that. That'll make your fishing better. And then the Mark II reel, you need 5 of those sawgills, and you need, like I said, the leatherback and the Kanawha piranha. Once you get that, you'll get a Mark II.
Good
And
lord.
then life gets better.
It gets better, but you keep having to catch these harder and more impossible fish. So life gets better, but it gets
Ooh.
harder.
Shout out to Clint. Clint just got his Kanawha piranha, so he just needs the leatherback. Awesome.
Attaboy, Clint. Good on you, mate.
Gotta get rid of that janky rod. And then the fishing hook mods you get from the captain. So the Mark ones you get for the challenges, but then from the captain you get advanced drag, and that's line strength, makes them go out slower. Attractive hook, that's 25% catch speed, makes them come in faster. Improved bearings, that's the one that makes them reel in speed. Stabilized gear ratio, I realize that's the one I have that I hate. That makes a smaller catch zone but faster speed. And then steady handle, you might like that. That makes the wedge bigger. It makes it move slower, but wedge bigger.
Steady
so
handle.
Big wedge is good. Yeah.
Yeah, I need that, obviously. And what I was really trying to do was to train my brain to lose the instinct to go the opposite direction with the wedge. I still cannot shake it. Every time it's just a
lot of us
twitch,
do.
just a twitch in the wrong direction, and that makes me lose the higher level fish every time.
Yeah.
Until I can
because
break that
Are
habit.
you moving the wedge or the fish? It takes me usually my first 3 or 4 fish before I get into the zone and fix that. And
I can't.
the speed will
trick my
help.
brain
I still do
into
it wrong. I still do it wrong almost half the time, Andrew. But yeah, when you get that Mark 1 reel and it moves faster,
Why
it'll
is
make
it
a
so
difference.
hard? Why is it opposite in my brain? Like why? It seems like it's not just me.
It clicks
What-
for some people, but it is
Yeah.
definitely the same for me.
Interesting. Let's see. Other gaming. I mentioned there's a disaster in Fallout Shelter, the tower project, where I was just doing one individual width of rooms all the way down and then going across and all the way back. I was just going to try to do single width rooms all the way, up and down. Their disaster last time had
It went horrible,
up
yeah.
over like 40 people down to like 4, and I was like, oh shit, what happened? Like woke up and I loaded it the one morning and was just like, oh my god, I don't know what happened the night before. Must have fallen asleep or something, or just like gotten up and walked away and not logged out, and the fire killed everyone. I had no idea. Anyway, I've been concentrating on getting the population back up, but it's like everyone has been miserable all week. Like the radiation levels at like half, and their life is like at like 10% or less. So I'm whenever there's emergencies, I'm not even really attempting to solve it. I'm just moving people out of the room so that they can live, because if they try to fight the fire at all, they will die.
Did you clean up the dead bodies, or are they working on the bodies of
The
their
dead
friends?
bodies are out. Come on,
good.
Well,
Well, you said they're miserable. I don't know.
I have to toss them in the food processor, right? They got to eat something. That's good protein.
While you're talking about this, I need to let you know, Andrew.
Yes.
Did you know that this week is 10 years of Fallout Shelter fun?
I just saw that earlier today, and I forgot I was going to put it in the shout outs. Yeah, so happy birthday, Fallout Shelter. 10 years old. I can't believe it. So they're having some specials and deals and stuff. I can't believe they didn't just have a something. They usually will give you like a free something or other, like you can log in, get a free lunchbox, something,
Yep.
But
Yep.
it's just sales. So
No,
go buy.
they are doing party features.
Oh, do they?
say
Okay, good.
Between the 16th and the 21st, from 16th and 21st, they are giving everybody lunch boxes, pet carriers, and Nuka-Colas.
Oh, yeah. Oh, but
on-
that's only on mobile. I play on Xbox.
And Steam on PC. So Steam PC and
Sons of bitches.
phone mobile, but not Xbox.
Not Xbox.
They hate those precious. I don't know.
Oh.
But yeah,
Just-
they have
we're
seen over
the pure
two.
gamers.
listen to these millions. Numbers. 230 million downloads across all platforms in 10 years. 230 million.
Is
Fallout
that a
Shelter
lot?
downloads.
Is that a lot?
That is insane. Skyrim, best-selling single-player RPG of all time, is at like 60-some million.
Wow.
And yeah, this is like almost 4 times Skyrim for Fallout Shelter across all platforms.
Well, popularity always proves what is the best, right?
Absolutely. Wait, what are you saying? Yeah, it's funny. Honestly, there's a bit of a challenge right now because Witcher 3 just hit 60 million downloads. So Witcher 3 caught up with the last
with Skyrim?
official
No way.
numbers of Skyrim. But the last official numbers of Skyrim at 60 million was about, I think, 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, right before Anniversary Edition launched. So obviously, there have been a lot more since Anniversary Edition Skyrim came out, but they haven't released those numbers, so we don't know which is at which. But they're finally in contention. Witcher 3 could catch Skyrim for best-selling single-player RPG of all time.
That's interesting. So video game companies release their own data that doesn't come from like a third-party source who monitors the industry?
No, there are third-party sources,
Okay.
yeah, like Circana, previously known as NPD. Like they do that, they monitor that, but there are some. They're not regularly released to the public, so some people know, but it hasn't been publicly released. You know.
And why such a long gap in between announcements? What's the advantage to hiding or not revealing that information?
I honestly don't know. I think it's just when their milestones hit. You know, when there's a reason to announce. They're not going to come out like once a year and be like, Skyrim has now sold this many copies. They should.
Yeah,
I think they should.
I'm just surprised you can't
They
just
don't.
look on their website and be like, it's sold, and like every week it tallies up. Oh, we sold.
McDonald's does it.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
or they used
billions
to.
and
Over
billions served.
million
Come on.
served. Yeah. Anywho, sorry. Back to your Fallout Shelter gameplay.
Oh, that was pretty much it. Trying to revamp, get everyone back in. But it's really tough. Happiness is really low. Morale is down. Everyone's super bummed out for being there. So, but I got the numbers up. I just need. I'm trying to resist moving the fully trained people, or no, moving the people as they're training to move them up to so they're. I'm like, no, just like another day or two, and you'll be at full. But then I'll move you up. You know what I mean? So everyone's miserable because there's no like food or water. I make sure there's electricity so that I can be producing as much as people as I can, and have the training rooms powered so that those people are constantly training.
Mm-hmm.
But not concentrating so much on keeping the food and water supply high, so that's why everyone's miserable. But we'll as soon as the training should be another couple days, and then I'll have fully trained people at perception for the water and agility for the food, and then things should start smooth sailing. And hopefully I'll start Spire number 2 this upcoming week, because I just got all the way down to the bottom, which is 25 levels down, and I built the Overseer's, what's it called? Vault, table, desk? I don't remember what it's called. The Overseer's office, whatever, to send people out.
Yep.
And so I'm about to start heading back up the other direction. So, well, hopefully, I'm not going to start building back up until people's morale comes back around. So hopefully the training will kick in soon, and I can move them up to the production rooms instead of training, and then happiness hopefully will increase. And then people will be more effective at their jobs. Self-perpetuating machine. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it'll get there.
Hope so.
Or you'll discover that
Or-
your whole straw columns, towers version is not great.
Or I will wake up again after this weekend and just, oh crap, I fell asleep again and everyone's dead. All right, fuck this. Let's come up with a new design. All right. All right. That's pretty much most of the stuff I was playing this week. Shelter and fishing. Lots of fishing. Especially last weekend. It aggravates me that I can't get the fishing thing down.
You'll
My
get
brain
it.
is backward.
It's a marathon, not a race. And there's people are going so hard on it, but really outside of getting the monthly axolotl, there's no reason to. It's going to be there for a while. People just, we like a new thing to grind, and so we're grinding it.
Grind that axolotl. All right, so let's check on the show notes, see what we got going on. It looks like we might have some notes and tapes of Captain Raymond, speaking of the devil fisherman guy.
Right. Well, I had mentioned last week that there seemed to be an odd dynamic between Captain Raymond and the fisherman and Linda Lee, and I talked about how you seem to be somewhat controlled and under their sway and, the odd noise they're making. We talked about the fisherman's noise with the gurgle gurgle and all that. And it was funny when we mentioned the fisherman, a lot of people in chat started all typing in their own version of what he says. But beyond that, at the time, we knew that there was something happening there, an odd dynamic. And over the weekend, when I was exploring the area more, and I found all the notes and the tapes, like I had said, but then I saw the deep note. So there is a note on the table to his left called the deep note. And this, when you pick it up and look at it, it's not just a log. It actually has a drawing of the interloper creature, the creature in Lucky Hole Mine that has a bit of a connection, to some of the Dunwich stuff and that mystery of what is the interloper. Because on this paper, they have that drawn with fish, and then they also have the obelisk from Fallout 3 in there, from the Dunwich building in Fallout 3. So all in this drawing. And I'm like, okay, it's not just, because I thought there was some vibes of kind of Lovecraftian vibes, with the fish people. And these things added up even more so. Where you're getting that kind of Innsmouth thing, with the fish people of Innsmouth. And so then I listened to the holotapes and read the notes. And yeah, it's very strong. What I also didn't know, I don't think I knew last Friday and mentioned, but if you go and visit the interloper, you'll see the cultists worshiping him there are feeding him fish now. There are a bunch of fish baskets. Did I mention that last week, Ray?
No.
Okay. Yeah, so he's got fish baskets there too. So there's definitely a connection to the deep ones and these deep creatures and the fishermen now. But what I ended up saving the notes and the audio logs of this so that I could actually read them to y'all. So let me see. Here we go. Okay, so there are 3 letters with 5 journal entries that you can find around the area from Captain Raymond. So the first one, entry 1, sold most of our cat. Should I do it? No, I'm not going to do a Maine accent. I was like, should I do a fisherman accent? No, I can't really. So entry 1, sold most of our catches for far cheaper than we ought this month. But I just can't bear to see the state of the poor souls that we meet in the ports. Least this way they can fill their bellies for a night. The men think I've gone soft, but they're forgetting how easy we've got it. So that's the captain with his crew, day 1. Second entry. Spied some almighty shadows beneath the ship of late. These waters grow more treacherous with every passing day. If it's not the sea herself, it's the creatures within. Arr. So he's Captain Raymond talking about seeing shadows and odd creatures under the ship. Entry 3. Blessed Poseidon, have mercy on our wretched souls. This storm has raged at us for 3 days and nights. It didn't give us the faintest warning of its coming neither. She better blow over soon, for Linda Lee can't take much more of this abuse. So that's Captain Raymond he's on his ship, the Linda Lee. Not the crab Linda Lee, but he's on a ship Linda Lee. Entry 4. I must be dreaming. I've woken up ashore. God knows how. Flashes of terrible visions plague my mind, and I'll be damned if I can tell whether they're nightmares or memories, though. Same figure, always lurking in them. It's hard to know what's real or not anymore, especially now I'm plagued with these strange urges. So, entry 4, his ship ran aground. He's lost his memory for a while. This is after the storm, and now he's having visions. Entry number 5, the last entry. Been following them for so long now, doing all kinds of strange things. Anything to stop the pain. Find myself in agony often, or is it ecstasy? So by entry 5, the captain is under their sway, but following them, he's obviously talking about the fishermen and the Linda Lee Crab, who ended up taking over his ship and wears his ship like a shell now. But maybe there are others too. Like, we don't know that these two we see are all there are. So yeah, there's this odd thing here. And when you talk to the captain, he mentions there are a number of hints in his, and I didn't say all his dialogue. There's a number of hints in his dialogue that they're especially looking for the strange fish and the weird fish and things that they can save. And obviously, we can see that they're feeding them to the deep ones. So those were the notes. After the notes, I've got the audio tapes you can find from him. So these are the 3 audio tapes. I just put them all together that you can find from the captain himself, trying to record things for himself, trying to remember who he is while under the sway of these creatures. So let's listen to that.
Ever since I washed up on these shores, my mind's felt more and more adrift. I'm hoping this might be a way to keep me anchored. My name is Captain Raymond Clark. My father was a bosun, and so was his father before him. My mother's name was Deirdre, and she had long flaxen hair. This is foolish. How do I stop this thing? It's been a few weeks or months since I recorded one of these. Whole seasons seem to go by without my noticing. My head's been so clouded I can barely keep track of what state we're in. Come on, Raymond, hold it together. My name is Captain Raymond Clark. My father was a bosun. My mother's name was... Oh, confound it! My name is Captain. Captain. I'm a captain. It's my job to fish. To catch as many fish as we can. My father was a fish, and my mother...
And there it ends, the last tape. So you can talk to Raymond, and sometimes he seems all there, sometimes he doesn't. But you can tell it's actually other people speaking through him some, because he has lost himself. So yeah, I just thought that was quite an interesting story. And you can very much see it in their interactions. For a much deeper look at this, a lot of people have spotted, those connections at this point. And Epic Nate did a video. For those of you who watch Epic Nate on YouTube, he did a video earlier this week where he spent a good 25 minutes kind of drawing the connections and writing it out a little bit better than I did right now. But same basic idea, looking at all the little connections between these people and what they're doing with the Dunwich and how that relates to the Interloper. And the Interloper lore, which most of you listening already know about the Interloper lore in 76, but they're slowly adding to it. And one of the great things about it is it's never fully spelled out. You just get people's interactions with it. But what does it mean? You never know, because every story ends before it actually ends. And that's one of the great things about Fallout, too, is that your imagination then kind of completes it. So I thought that was fun.
Yeah. So there's also that little the small interloper,
right,
in the deep.
Yeah. So I haven't gone to check out both of them. I do need to go into the deep. You can fish in the deep too. So I do want to go in there and fish in the deep. I haven't seen that you actually get anything special there, which you would think that if there can be special fish, maybe eventually there will be in the deep, if there is anywhere, right?
If anywhere, yeah.
But yeah. So I do need to go check that one out. But that's all I got on that, y'all. Do you want to jump into a terminal velocity next?
Absolutely. Let's take a turn and see what we have on terminal velocity this week.
Okay, so this terminal velocity was sent in to us by Sulior, and he's going over some of the terminals in Helios 1 in New Vegas.
Hello, fellow Wastelanders. Eric, aka Sulior here, and I'm back with another terminal velocity. This time I thought we'd pay a visit to the Helios 1 plant, so there should be quite a bit here Well, hopefully. But let's find out, shall we? This first terminal is in the power plant itself, and this first entry is titled Archimedes Testing. And it says, on Tuesday, February 16th at 2 p.m., technicians will be running @test, I think it means a test, of Archimedes and its connectivity with our plant security systems. Under no circumstances should any employee be outdoors on the plant grounds until the alarm klaxon has ceased and an all clear is given. We have death and dismemberment waivers from all employees on file and are not responsible for any accidents that should occur during this procedure. Protective eyewear is mandatory for all technicians observing from the tower deck. Alright, this next one is titled Results, and it says the initial testing of Archimedes was a success, though not an unqualified one. Several minor systems were overloaded despite all precautions taken, and the 2.5 minutes of downtime following the test is something we can work on improving. More importantly, we received reports from nearby facilities that they experienced system frying power fluctuations at the time of the test, notably the Black Mountain Communications Array and the military bunkers at Hidden Valley. We're going to have to make it a priority next time to prevent such collateral damage. Alright, this next one is titled Upcoming Visit, and it says Brig General Scott Lowe of the U.S. Army will be visiting the facility starting next Monday and staying on site indefinitely. When Archimedes goes live, he will be the only person here allowed to authorize its use for anything other than a test. Civilian employees are not required to salute, but it is expected of everyone to observe thorough grooming and hygiene regimens and dress neatly while the General is with us. The General expects the best of all of his men, and the Poseidon men should be no different in the presence of such a fine and decorated soldier. Alright, this next one is titled Can I Tell Him? Can I Tell Him, a Poseidon Energy publication for new employees. And it says, as a member of the Poseidon family, it will be natural for you to become enthusiastic about the incredible endeavors you'll be undertaking with us, and to want to tell others. But just a second there, my good man. Let's take a minute to consider what could happen if company information fell into the wrong hands, and whose hands those might be. Can I tell my wife? Well, let's say you do. You tell her not to tell anyone. Your bond is sacred, but a woman's idle tongue is the devil's plaything. No sooner do you leave for work the next day than she's on the phone telling her best friend Candy. Then Candy tells Gertie.
Yeah.
Gertie tells Maxine.
Mm-hmm.
Maxine then tells Lulu.
Of course they
And
do.
while Lulu is on the phone telling Doris, a Chinese agent posing as an American operator listens in. And the next thing, she's on the line with the Forbidden City, singing like a treasonous canary. The following day, you and your wife are bound in shackles, and China is sitting at the controls of our entire arsenal. Can I tell my children? What father wouldn't want his kids to look up to him? Don't be that father. One day at school, Ivan Bulikov will get more than lunch money out of your kids. He'll have national secrets. And while they're parading him through the Red Square as a national hero, you and your children will be in forced labor camps right next to you and your beautiful young wife, who's now wrinkled and homely since the communists have banned makeup because it expresses individuality. Can I tell my drinking buddies? Surely if there's somewhere safe a man can place his trust, it's with his other male friends. But how much do you really know about them? Are they friends or comrades? Don't be too sure. Even the most transparent window can hide secrets when it's lined with iron curtains. Always remember, you're a member of two families now, and you have obligations to both. But your obligations to the Poseidon family is greater, because while your children may misbehave, and your friends may change, and your wife may nag and cheat on you, Poseidon Energy will always be paying for and protecting your way of life. Don't tell anybody about anything about the projects of Poseidon Energy. When pressed, tell them that your job is repetitive and not worth discussing, but the company is nurturing and gives good benefits and is always looking out for new talent. Alright, this next one is the mainframe terminal, and this first entry is called the Configure Power Grid, and it is basically where you send the power once you go through everything. So that's a pretty memorable part of the game. All right, this next one is titled Initial Trials, and it says, pending the successful launch of Archimedes 2, we ought to be able to begin field trials with the handheld rangefinder within a few weeks. Our small-scale tests have already proven the viability of sending power as microwave radiation from the plant to a remote receiver and converting it back to a usable form. All that remains is to extrapolate it to full scale and then prove out the long-range communication targeting system on the rangefinder. And that is actually the last entry here. So we had a couple that repeated, so I guess a message had gotten sent to multiple terminals. But yeah, that is the last entry from the Helios 1 power plant. So anyway, until next time, I will see you all in the wasteland.
Thank you, Mr. Solior, sir. It sounds like that first one they're getting in the hubbub because the president is visiting. Do we know what is our political climate in the TV show? Do we know? Let's see. The NCR exists. Do we know who the president is, and does it follow the games and stuff like that? Do we have any sort of idea about that stuff?
Well, in the TV show, we don't know how much NCR exists at all. You know, the only NCR we
The
saw
flag
so far.
was it, right?
Right, yeah, exactly.
So I take that as it exists or existed, right? Yeah.
Yeah, the supposition is that it may exist a bit elsewhere, but we're going to find out. It was so the first terminal talking about the visit was pre-NCR. It's actually talking during the U.S. government time. So those are talking about when it was originally
the real
built.
president.
Exactly, and then inspected. And a brigadier general was coming by to inspect the facilities and see how the power was working, and then the Archimedes device, which is channeling that solar power
it's
to attack.
the dam that the president is visiting in New Vegas. Okay.
Yeah, so
that's where I
right,
got
Hoover
confused.
Dam
Sorry
a couple
about
weeks
that.
ago.
Yeah.
Yep. No, all good. So that's what this one was kind of just explaining what Archimedes was and talking about it ahead of time. Then that big long one. Did you have any notes on that? The Can I Tell Him? A Poseidon Energy publication for new employees.
I did not.
Well, I just love that. That's one of my favorite little terminal entry notes in the game. It's just so
mine
hilarious.
too. I had done that one for one of our specials.
Yeah, I knew I'd heard you heard someone else read that already at that point. It's just so perfect, right? Like the ultimate propaganda. You can't trust anybody. You can't trust anybody with your secrets. Keep it in. That whole, can I tell my children? Can I tell my drinking buddies? Surely if there's somewhere safe a man can place his trust with his other male friends. God. Anyway. But like, are they friends or comrades? Like that just cracks me up.
That's good.
Yeah.
Are they friends or comrades?
So good. Yeah.
Yeah, I was talking about a work project today with my son, and I showed him a picture, and he hid his eyes because he knows that we have like secret stuff that people have to sign NDAs to see. So he thought he was going to get in trouble for seeing my picture. I'm like, no, buddy, I would get in trouble, not you. He's like,
yeah, I need to make sure you don't see anything.
Yeah. So funny.
Yeah.
That note leans into every stereotype of the time, right?
Yeah. Just, don't let him talk to that kid Bullykoff.
I've been
He's going to beat him up and steal all our battery secrets.
And it starts out like so chauvinistic. I'm sorry, y'all. But can I tell my wife? And then like, oh yeah, well your wife's gonna be on the phone telling all her friends, and they'll tell their friends, and the entire sewing circle is gonna know. Next thing you know,
one guy tells another guy something, and then he tells two friends, and they tell two friends, and they tell their friends, and so on, and so on, and so on.
Like, and then like when they're like, she'll be there looking all homely and wrinkled because she can't get her makeup in the Chinese camps. Like, really?
Yeah.
Great. I love that.
It is the worst.
But yeah, and then he hit on one real quick. Didn't go through it though, but the select output configuration one, and that's simply at the point in the quest where you're going to choose where to route the power if you get it all powered back up, right?
Yeah.
And you've got, what are the choices? Like, you're doing it for Mr. House, or you're doing it for Various.
You can send it to essentially just the Strip
Yeah, like the Strip and Camp McCarran, right?
or everywhere.
Or everywhere. I think there's an option to send it just to like Freeside too, or something weird like that. But yeah. And can you send it to the Power Up the Weapon? Is that a choice of that on that terminal too?
Uh,
It might be. Anyway,
yeah,
That's
it could
fine.
be because you do have to go down that path before you can get the gun that lets you activate Archimedes.
yeah, that Euclid Sea Finder. It's fun. Oh, and by the way, if you have Arcade as a companion, make sure he loves it. He loves it if you power up Archimedes and fire it and kill people with it. So
Yeah,
give that a go.
make sure for sure.
He's a big fan. Do we have a game this week, Andrew? We don't, do we?
I did not get a game together. I was super lazy this week, you guys.
It's all good. You know, we Mountain don't have a game.
Mountain don't have a game. I still like to hear the theme song, though. You want to hear the theme song? Then we're not gonna. No, we can't.
I'm down.
What's that? That Dr. Pepper? That's that Dr. Pepper.
Are you guys
the
ready
important part.
for the great new game show?
Dr. Pepper?
Do or
Dr. Pepper?
don't?
For the energy to let you swing. Make
Dr. Pepper?
your thing. Get your barefoot feeling drinking.
Dr. Pepper?
That is just the best.
We literally just gave everybody, yeah, we're teasing them. I'm sorry, we're not even doing it this week.
Come up
Time
off the
for
top of
bits,
your
Andrew.
head. Come up with quick 10 generic grape pops. There you go. That's what's next, right? Grape pop. Ugh. I don't know. We're scratching the bottom of the barrel. We're gonna have to go to
Purple
like
drank. Real
purple-
grape pop or fake grape pop?
Drizank. Yes, we'll party. Yeah, no, I didn't put a game together this week. Sorry, guys. But we do have a little bit of iguana bits.
Jessica, to the office, please. Jessica, to the office. Your iguana bits are ready. Please come pick them up. To exploit or not to exploit?
Exploit.
That is the question.
Do it.
Whether it is nobler to be an honest Fallout 76 player
No.
or to take the cheap way out, risk banning your account and stacking those perk cards through your machine so you can finish the season faster.
Yes, of course.
No, Andrew, you failed. No.
Oh.
Bad karma.
Oh, my bad.
Cue the bad karma noise. No, so this week you may have noticed that some things were up and down.
So, okay, what are you talking about here?
So in Fallout 76, there was a major exploit happening. They caught it about 3 days in, as people were doing it, and they had to temporarily disable. So this went out, I believe it was last Sunday that it actually went out. Fallout 76 News. Hey everyone, we've temporarily disabled the punch card machine to address some unexpected issues affecting gameplay and server stability. The team is working on a hotfix to resolve this issue. More information to follow. Note, we'll be removing the additional loadout options from the shop with the reset tomorrow while we work to fix the issue. So they stop you from buying more loadouts for your perk card machine in the shop. You know how you can buy extra loadouts?
Yeah.
And they disabled your the whole perk card machine, so you could not switch between your different loadouts anymore.
Oh, fuck.
And that lasted for a day and a half. And then a day and a half later, hey Fallout 76, we wanted to provide you with a quick update since yesterday's announcement the punch card machine was disabled. Today the team rolled out a server-side update that re-enabled the punch card machine and disabled the following perk cards. Big old list of perk cards, basically
good
all the ones
lord.
that give you a bonus item or an extra thing or an extra percent of something were all taken down. Things like Super Duper, Ammo Smith, Chemist, Woodchucker, Glowing Hunter, Green Thumb.
Those are
all
the only
kinds.
ones I use. The hell?
So you could still have them in your loadout, but they were not active. They were not working. They went on to say, we recommend that you close and relaunch the game if you're having any issues with the punch card machine. And they ended, as a general reminder, the usage of exploits goes against our terms of service and will put your account at risk of being banned. please protect your accounts by refusing the siren call of easy caps, in quotation marks. So they
Easy
were actually
caps.
out there chastising the players. This was from the community managers. I think Rich posted this one specifically, but they were all jumping in and doing several posts throughout the week of this whole saga of the punch card machine and then the stacking the perk cards and reminding people to resist the siren call of easy caps. Finally, I'll just go on. They added more cards to the list. Then, what was it? Yesterday? Yes, yesterday, Thursday. Hey, Fallout 76. A small server-side update has been deployed to re-enable the following cards. They end up relisting all the cards again. And thank you for your patience as the team addressed this issue. Bunch of stuff there. So, yeah, it was a saga all week. So, if you're one of the people trying to get through the season a little quicker, trying to get the extra caps, the extra experience and items, sorry, maybe not the best. And there may be some bans incoming. So I'm sure none of our listeners did. But if you did, maybe you're fine, maybe you're not. But some of these exploits, this one was it was too obvious. I'm not going to get into it here, but they were putting it on YouTube immediately, and putting it out there how to do it. People were jumping on the boat. And there are some things you can do in games that are, fine, like if it's not affecting progression, but things that give you, free XP, and free duplication items. Bethesda frowns on those, and they're against terms of service, so don't do it. That's all I have.
It's my goddamn game. Why do they fucking care?
Was I too chastising? Am I a narc?
No. Narc him out, dude.
I didn't narc on anybody, but my point is, just it's in your own interest not to do it. Not only that, it ruins the fun of the game. Like people busting the raids. When you do something that affects progression outside of the way it was designed, you can get the thing quicker. That's cool. It feels good for a minute. But if you're doing content that should take a couple months in the span of like 3 days, and you're complaining, I got nothing to do, I really think that's on you. They design it in a certain way for a reason. And yeah, you're only punishing yourself. As the 76 turns, says chat, exactly. So, more fun posts though. They weren't just posting about exploits and the perks coming and going and machines working and not working. They also introduced a new contest this week, the Cozy Coloring Contest. Have either of you guys heard about this?
Coloring contest. What?
Yeah. The Fallout 76 Cozy Coloring Contest. So they put up a post on Bethesda.net and also on all their socials. Time to get cozy and creative. We invite 76 players to participate in our coloring contest. And so they gave 3 possible coloring pages that you guys could color. The first one is The Fisherman, close-up of our buddy, Mr. himself. The Linda Lee, adorable crab with the ship Linda Lee on her back. And then the fish collection, which has some of the more unusual looking fish pictured. So you can color them with physical, like crayons, pencils, anything like that, or digital, but no AI. They say if you use AI, you'll be disqualified. So don't color them with AI, but color them digitally, or print them out, color them normal, and submit them between. They're accepting submissions from the 11th, so a couple days ago, until June 25th. So we have 2 weeks to color, and 3 winners. Top 3 will get 10,000 atoms each. That's big atoms. That's $100 worth of atoms there. So enjoy. Just wanted to make sure everybody knows about that. And if you want a copy of that, ask in the Discord, and I'll send you a link to it. Or, of course, just go to Bethesda.net and check out the Fallout news.
That's a ton of atoms. Good Lord.
Yeah, 10,000. That's a lot. I'm going to drop it in chat just because. So no one has to ask.
Do it.
So I've got another audio clip for us. So
oh, nice.
We had the Xbox showcase this past weekend. You might know, as I was really looking forward to it, the Summer Game Fest stuff and the Xbox showcase. And there was some fun announcement there, but there was zilch for Starfield. Okay, so I was a little. We all expected there to be Starfield news there because we knew there's stuff in the works, knew there's stuff coming. There's still stuff coming, but a tease would have been nice. when it came to Fallout 76, I said they were going to go two ways. They were either going to focus on the two things that come out this year, ghouls and fishing, since fishing had just come out. It's the new stuff. It's already out, yeah, but they'll tell us about it, try to get people into the game. Or they'll look ahead to the fall and maybe give us a tease of what's next. But I thought it was more likely they'd, talk about ghouls and fishing. And that's what they did. They set up a cool little booth there for the play days, and they had the trailer during the show, and it was just all about fishing. Getting everybody to come in and join. Because at that point, it had only been out for 3 days. So, on Sunday it would have been 5 days, but good times. However, after the show and over the next day or two, while they were still there doing these SGF play days, they were also meeting with some YouTubers, people from the press who showed up and were, checking things out, talking to the crew, and they gave a few interviews during that. And Paris Lilly, some of you may know him. He works with Kind of Funny occasionally, does some stuff on his own. He sat down with John Rush and Bill. So John is creative director, Bill is production director, talking about 76. And it was mostly about fishing and about the game and about the community. It's a good 9-10 minute interview. I recommend if you're interested, go and look it up on YouTube. Paris's channel is just Paris with 2 R's and 1 S, I believe. Yeah, 2 R's, 1 S, Paris. But there was a clip where, they talk about the game, how it's going, and stuff to come. And John Rush had this to say. So this is a 30-second excerpt from this video from Paris Lilly. So here it is.
It's only going to get better.
Oh, I can't wait.
It's only going to get better. Between you and I.
Yeah. Let me see this.
Take off your headphones. Yeah. Between you and I, end of this year, we have probably the biggest update to Fallout 76 ever, which I'm not going to talk about.
Okay.
However, I'm going to roll it back a few months and let's talk about the fall. After Gone Fishing in the fall, our builders can expect a really cool update that gets them more tools to build, makes it easier to build. It's a patch dedicated to our builders, so keep an eye out for that. We're only getting started here, folks. We're only getting started.
It's fantastic. Well, gentlemen, thank you so much for taking time.
They're only getting started, folks. They're only getting started. Did that come through to you guys? Did you hear that okay?
Oh, yeah.
So
the biggest
thing fucking ever, which I'm not going to talk about.
Yeah, such a freaking tease, John. But, we're talking Wastelanders. As we know, Wastelanders was the biggest update we've had. We've had some big ones since, Still Dawn, Still Rain, the camp updates, obviously Skyline Valley. Skyline Valley was almost as big as Wastelanders, but maybe, half as big as Wastelanders. Anyway, it was still big. Good story and all that. The biggest ever coming this winter. So, y'all heard it here. Biggest ever coming up. And then he says, let's roll back a couple months. This fall, it's what I suspected. What I was saying last week, I was hoping would happen. The fall update will be focused on builders. Probably those relaxed building descriptions we were talking about. Restrictions, not descriptions, restrictions. And but probably some other stuff involved too. Maybe the reorg of the camp build menu. Maybe some change on budget and reallocation of that. Maybe a search feature. I don't know. But a search feature in the build menu would be pretty cool.
It sounds like you have a laundry list of things that you would like updated.
Oh, I have a pretty huge list. Yeah, I tell you, it's like I say, the biggest obstacle to building these days is the build menu itself. It's just there's so much stuff in there. A lot of inspiration comes from flipping through and seeing what's right. But when you're flipping through a couple thousand things, that's not flipping anymore. That's getting lost.
Yeah.
So
you can't just plop a camp down anymore. It takes 20 minutes just to find the items.
Number one feature would be reorganization of the menu, splitting up several things, getting like a plants and trees flora category, getting a small floor items as opposed to just big floor items. Turning miscellaneous into prefabs and other miscellaneous. Just give me more categories. So build menu reorg, number 1. Number 2, a favorites feature. Things that I really like that I want to be able to have often, let me favorite them, have a column itself, so things that I actually use. Because guess what? There's stuff there I'm not going to use. You know what I'm not going to use? A big old pile of mucus and goo. I don't want that. Do I want the Mountain Don't cake that you saw on last week's cover?
Yes, you do.
No, I do not want the Mountain Don't cake. That is not in my favorites. I Mountain Don't want it.
You Mountain absolutely do.
But, maybe I'll have a slice of someone else's camp. Point being, there are things we do want and things we mountain don't want. And so that I don't. So that's number 2. And then number 3, which is the more out there thing, is the search. I think that's going to be the hardest to implement. I don't know if they can do that, but if they could, that would be really cool too. Oh, gosh, they all want to give me Mountain Dew cake in the in the chat. It's Mountain Dew. It always is.
I want the automatic pie dispenser, but I want to mod it so that it gives out slices of goo cake.
Gross. Perfectly preserved gross cake.
Perfectly preserved rotten cake.
So up on the Fallout 76 website too, on the Fallout website, they've done more guides for fishing. They're just helping people with fishing. That's pretty much what it all is right now for the news, besides what I've gone into. And the Atomic Shop, I don't think we had anything new this week. Yeah, we've got the Tiki Bar bundle, which has some stuff we've already had put together, and then other bundles from the last week or two. It's mostly fishing related. That is all still in there. And of course, as I mentioned, if you want to spend real money, you can get that bundle that I grabbed too, where you get the bait and you get a couple of titles and you get a cool Contessa ship and a few things like that. So, and the floating dock, I gotta say that floating dock, that's pretty special. That's a really good item. Something you can actually place in water. Pretty much every item you try to put down, it says cannot place in water, but the new buoy and the floating docks, you can place in water.
That's pretty cool. Can you latch them together like floor pieces?
Yes. Oh,
Nice.
I think the floating docks hooked together. I only put down one, so I guess I don't know.
I only put down one as well. I don't know.
Yeah. I only had so much room, I'm putting them by the castle.
Me too. Little pond. Little fishing pond.
Yeah. You need room to fish. If you don't have room to fish, you're crossing the lines. You cross the lines, you fall in the water. It's no good.
It's such a small fishing pond that the damn raft takes up most of the fishing area. And small bodies of water, you really don't need a raft out in the middle of it.
Right. The slogan has been, if you can swim there, you can fish there. But some of these places you can swim, you can basically get up to your chest in water, but it's like 3 by 3.
It's like, if I can sit and swim, sure.
Yeah, if I can fish in my hot tub.
2 feet deep. Yeah, oh no. That's what I want.
They're definitely hearing people. It's been asked about all over. In like a lot of talks on the fishing in the official Bethesda Discord, people want a way to display their fish besides just, mounted. They don't want to just mount their fish. And so,
drop
everyone's asking
into
for
the
a pond.
hot tubs. People done that yet?
No, I haven't seen that yet myself. But, because they're wall mounted, it would be kind of odd anyway. You could probably make it happen though, especially in custom. That'd be easy.
Your fish aren't moving, man. Oh, they're sleeping. Leave them be.
They're pining for a real fish tank. Yeah. So, we were talking about Helios One before. I mentioned a couple months ago, but for anyone who didn't listen to that, the real life Helios One, out of the 3 facilities, one has been permanently closed, another one is scheduled to close, and they're not sure about the third. But yeah, they're going to be shutting those down. End of an era. And then the only other thing I have is at the Xbox showcase, they didn't show new Bethesda stuff really. It's just the ongoing stuff, stuff for ESO, stuff for 76 we're already doing, but they did not show Starfield. They did not show anything about Elder Scrolls 6, even a little tease.
No,
we know it's
Elder
too early.
Scrolls 6.
But even a little tease, like something beyond just a mountain. We didn't get that. But we did get the Outer Worlds 2 Expo and some really cool games. There was still some really cool stuff shown at the Xbox showcase.
Very cool.
Yeah. But that's all I got for this week.
All right. Thank you so much, Iguana Bits. We do have a shout out on our way out the door tonight. So who is Epic Nate? Tell me about this.
Oh, that's just... I mentioned his video earlier, but I wanted to shout out his video if I didn't remember to. We're talking about the fisherman and Captain Raymond and the
Oh,
whole,
right.
Yeah, the occult Cthulhu connection there.
Very nice. All right, do you guys have any other items you'd like to discuss on the show this evening?
Good to go.
Same here.
Then, in that case, you can find Ray at RayLB and also his No Man's Sky show at BBCISSS, which is the Butcher Baker Candlemaker in Space. Ray, thanks so much for hopping on.
Good times.
Jess can be found at Sleep is for Tea, and both of our friends like to hang out over there on the Discord. Jess, thanks so much for hopping out.
Thanks. Have a great weekend.
Hopping out? I meant hanging out. Good Lord. I hang out over in the Facebook group, and the show is at the Fallout Feed. I'd like to thank everyone for downloading this edition of the Fallout Feed. We will see you in the Wasteland.
Thank you for downloading this episode of the Fallout Feed Roundtable. If you are interested in doing a play-along character with us, the show can be contacted by emailing falloutroundtable@gmail.com. For the Roundtable schedule, our Amazon link, and all other show information, please head on over to asapodcasting.com, where you will find the Fallout Feed, a Skyrim-matic podcast, our YouTube channel, the Chatterbox, as well as other content. Once again, thank you for downloading, and we'll see you in the Wasteland.
If you're out there hooking and you want to hook faster, Red Rocket Bobber, blocking my fishing hole, trying to fish my hole. You shove them in your fish pockets. Great. I love that.
It is the worst.